Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, I'll be demonstrating how you can analyze and interpret results of Likert-type scale data. So, if you have collected a data set from students, for example, who have undertaken a certain program or who have written certain examinations, and you may want to learn their perception, you may want to see how they feel, you may want to see how they feel about that particular program. Okay, you may want to get feedback from the students. So a cross-sectional study will help you to achieve this. So in this case, you want to see their perception, you want to learn from their views, what they feel. Okay, and then if you feel that conducting a quantitative research will help, probably you have a larger number of students whom you want to survey, so you may want to do a cross-sectional study. You may want to use a survey and then sample the students' opinion. So in this particular case, I want to survey students who have undertaken workplace learning, and I want to see their perspective. I want to learn from them how they feel. And so I'm using a 5-point Likert type scale. And I said, please note that the SA here means strongly agree, A means agree, UN means undecided, and then D means disagree, YSD means strongly disagree. Okay, so and I have 10 items here, 10 item statements here, measuring students' perception of work placement learning. If I have collected the data set and I want to analyze the students' perceptions or perspective, then what I will do is that I will head over to SPSS. And so this is the data set that I already have. I've already coded this, and and I have a total of 160 respondents. So you can see 160 respondents here. And so these are the items, item 1 to item 10. So as I showed previously here, the Microsoft Word. Okay, so so each of these items, because I tried to report them as workplace 1, workplace 2, workplace 3, workplace 4, workplace 5. And so if you come to the Microsoft Word, yeah, so you're going to see that this is item 1, this is item 2, item 3. So if you want to replace, if you want to number them, if you want to label what you have done, what you have coded, if you want to label it, you can actually copy this out and then come to the label. So this is a label. For example, this is the first one here, the item statement. Okay, so this is it. uh yeah, if I want, I simply paste here. um yeah, so I have pasted the second one. Okay, so you can see this. So if you want, you can actually paste it, but if you don't want, there's basically no reason. Since you have already noted that this is workplace 1, so meaning this is your first, the item statement number 1, so you may actually go ahead without labeling this. So because yeah, so it gives, you make sure that it produces a much um, cleaner output for you. If you don't know how to code data set in SPSS, you may want to check out my other tutorial on coding data into SPSS. So here we'll head over to analyze, and then we go to frequencies, because descriptive statistics is about frequencies, percentages, mean, and standard deviation. Okay, so I will head over to the statistics button, and I will check the mean, and I will check the standard deviation. Okay, so because basically these are the things I want to see. If I want to check any of these buttons, it will produce the results for me. For example, if I want to see the skewness and kurtosis, I'll be able to find out from here. Okay, so when you have a data already coded in SPSS, I think the first thing that you need to do is to first of all check the reliability of the instrument, of the data that you have. So first of all, you may want to know whether the items that you have, whether they are reliable, okay? Because this will give an assurance that actually, yes, it measured what you intend to measure. That's at least that respondents are able to understand the item statements clearly. So we'll head over to scale and then go to reliability. So and then I will copy this, copy, highlight all of them. You hold the shift button down on your laptop and then use um, the arrow key and then select all the items and put into the item box, and you click OK. So this will produce the reliability results for you, and then you'll be able to know whether um, the measurement items that you have, whether the scale is actually reliable. So you can see the Chromebox Alpha reliability coefficient is 0.91, and then the number of items here are 10. Okay, and so but if you want to see the individual items, how they are faring, the reliability of the individual items in your measurement scale, you may want to click this. Okay, so you head over to statistics, you click, you select scale if item deleted, and then you click OK, and then you run the analysis again. So here you can see we also have the same 0.91. This is it, but here the analysis has given you the item total statistics. Okay, so this is the Chromebox Alpha if deleted, if item deleted. So if for example, what this means is if I remove item 1 from this data set, the Chromebox Alpha value, reliability value will be 0.90. Okay, so you can see, looking at all the items that are doing pretty well, none of these item is bad. So you can see that they are all loading pretty well, so their reliability coefficients are quite good, and the correlated item total correlation are all looking pretty good. None is below 0.3, so meaning that they are fine. So if I were to go for something like factor analysis or confirmatory factor analysis, this will do pretty well. Okay, so having certified the result of Chromebox Alpha reliability, so the next thing I need to do is to head over to analyze. So I will go to descriptive statistics, and then I'll click frequencies. Okay, so I will select each of the items. If I want, I can be selecting them one by one by one. Okay, but the easiest way to do this is highlight one, then hold down the shift button and then arrow key. Okay, and select all of them and put them once into your variables box, and then select statistics. Then you want to check the mean, you want to check the standard deviation. Please note that any of these buttons that you check here, the analysis will produce the results for you. Okay, if you want to select skewness and kurtosis, the analysis will give you the output. So, and then I will select continue, and then I'll click OK. So here you can see the results of the statistics. So this is the frequency for the mean and the standard deviation results. So the valid number, you can see I have one. The total number of respondents is 160. So you can see across the items there are 160, and then missing values, I actually do not have any missing value here. Okay, assuming that there's a particular item that is missing, it would have reported itself here. Then you can head over to the to the data view, and then begin to find out the particular item that's missing. Okay, so here you can see this is the frequency here, the frequency table for each of the item statements that you have. So for example, the item statement 1, which I coded workplace 1. So you can see the number of people. These are the respondents who strongly agreed. So there are 64%, and this is a percentage, okay, 40.0. And then those that agreed, there are 61, and this is the percentage here, 38.1. And those that are undecided are 13%, or we are 13%, and their percentage is 8.1. Then those that disagreed, they are 6%, and the percentage is 3.8. And those that strongly disagree, so you have 16%, and which is giving us 10.0%. Okay, so you can see that this particular percentage here, the percent here reported at this point, is also what you have here. So this is the cumulative. So when you add this to this, so when you add 10.0 to 3.8, so that gives you 13.8. So you add this, that gives you this. You add this, this gives you this, and then you add this, that gives you 100%. So basically, these particular two here, these two columns here, you actually don't need them. So what you need to focus on is this column, the frequency, and then the percentages. Okay, so same thing across. Okay, so you can see the individual outputs here that it has produced from item 1 to item statement number 10. So so the next thing that we want to do, since we have already produced this result, is to head over to the Microsoft and then interpret this particular data. Okay, so I will pause and then head over to the Microsoft and then be able to put the output for you to see. Okay, so here, this is the output that I have tried to report, to present to you. Okay, so so this is the Microsoft Word. So this is the output that I've already produced from the data set. So, and then I tagged it table 1, responses on students' perception of work placement learning. A lot of people, when they come back here to interpret the result, they will again write research question. Okay, research question 1 again, and then and then repeat the same research question that okay, so sometimes people come over to this particular place and then repeat the same research question that they have mentioned before in their study. So this is a wrong practice, because in academic world, repetition is not necessary. So you don't need to repeat this again, because you have already reported this in your work. So all you need to do is just to head over to your findings. Okay, findings, and then begin to now report. So in order not to waste your time, so you can see that here, if if you go to the output, so you can see this particular these mean here, that I have the mean and the standard deviation values are what I have reported here. For example, 3.94 for the first item statement. So you can see that 3.94. Okay, the next one is 3.82. So that is it, 3.82. The next one is 3.63. Okay, that is also 3.63, and same thing with the standard deviation 1.38. Yeah, so that is it, 1.38. So I have already reported this here to ensure that we do not waste so much time. And then look at the this particular place. Okay, this is quite important. You can see this is strongly agree, and then in bracket percentages. Okay, the percentage. So inside the bracket here, I have reported the percentage. So this is important, because you may want to use the percentages to report your findings, just in case you want to report the total number of people, the total the percentage of those that strongly agreed, percentage of those that agreed, those that are undecided, those that disagreed, and those that strongly disagree. So you may want to now easily use the percentage here, value here, to report that. Okay, so and I think that is quite interesting. So most times you see people will delete this session. Okay, people will simply remove this session. People don't report, usually report this session in their work, for example, and then you get to see only the mean and standard deviation. And then I'll begin to ask a couple of questions. I'll begin to ask, if you cannot show us the individual measurement scales, the results of the frequencies of the measurements that you have used, how can we trust the mean and then the standard deviation values that you have produced? Because if we see the frequencies reported in your work, it will be easy for someone to actually calculate the mean to find out whether this result is tallying with what you have here. It will also be possible for someone to do this and then check whether you have actually produced the accurate standard deviation value. Okay, so this is it. And then also remember that you need to report this. Okay, you also need to give a note at each table to show the number of respondents, and then try to explain what this means. Okay, in your research work, and then try to say how you made your decision, how you took your decision. So in this particular case, I use the weighted average. Okay, so and I'm going to show you how weighted average was gotten. So how did I get the weighted average? I made the decision from the findings that I have gotten already. Okay, a lot of people make the mistake of um, not using the findings to make decisions. People use the average of the scale. They will say this is 5, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1, and they will divide it by 5 and they use it to make a decision. No, in this particular case, I want to base my findings from what I have seen. Okay, from what the students have perceived. Okay, so in this case, what I do is I will add up this. I will say 3.94 plus this, 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 plus this mean, plus this. Okay, then I will divide it by the total number of items. So we have 10 items. So I will do this and then divide it by total number of items. So let me pause and then calculate the value of the weighted average. Okay, and then we'll be able to make a decision. So what I need to do is I'm going to find out the weighted average and then use the value of the weighted average to take my decision. So to do this, I will now calculate 3.94 plus 3.82 plus this, 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 and plus this. Then I will divide it by 10. Okay, that means the 10 of the item, the total number of the item, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so when I do this, I'll be able to get the weighted average and then report the accurate weighted average here. Then I will use the weighted average value to now make my decision. So let me pull out calculator in my system and then let us head over to Punch to calculate this and get the weighted average. Okay, so the first one here is 3.94 plus 3.82 plus 3.63 plus 3.58 plus 3.67 plus 3.59 plus 3.68 plus 3.68 plus 3.68 3.71 plus 3.66 plus 3.69. So I'm going to have the total, that is 36.97. Okay, so it's going to be 36.97 divided by total number of 10. So that's going to give us so I'm going to divide this 36.97 divided by 10. Okay, so that's going to give us 3.69. Okay, that's going to give us 3.69. So this becomes our weighted average. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to now head over to the individual items in my work, and this will now form my decision rule. Okay, and not the mean cutoff of 2.5. No, I want to base the findings. I want to base on what I have done here. Basing your findings on mean cutoff of 2.5 simply means that you are using the scale strongly agree, and disagree to take a decision instead of basing your findings from what you have found. Okay, so in this case, my weighted average value, or what some people call grand mean, okay, some people call it grand mean as the case may be. So, but in this particular case is weighted average. Okay, so what I will do is that I will head over here. So I have 3.69. So any of these items here that is not up to 3.69, I will regard it as low perception. Okay, that the student have view this as, have low perception to that particular item statements. Not really. Majority of the students are not feeling that this applied to them. Please remember, it does not mean that you have found something spectacular. So what I need to do now is that if you look at this particular one, okay, so you will see that is 3.94, so which is bigger than 3.69, which we have as our weighted average value. So I'll report this as high perception. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm using high perception here, rather than disagree or rejected or not. Okay, so here this is 3.69. So in this particular case, it's also the majority of the students feel that this particular item applied to them. Okay, so this is 3.63. So here this is 3.69. So the value of the weighted average is bigger than this. Okay, so we are now saying that this is going to be low perception, because the mean item for this particular item is lower than 3.69. So majority of this implies that majority of the students, majority of the respondents in this particular case do not feel that this apply to them. Okay, so this is a perception, not that it's not really establishing any relationship, but this is what majority feel. So you can say it's majority because there are other people who still feel otherwise. Okay, yeah, so this is low perception. This case also, we are also going to have low perception here. Okay, because the mean of this particular item is lower than the value of the weighted average. Okay, so the same thing here, so we're going to have low perception. The same thing here, we're going to have low perception. Okay, low perception. The same thing here, so you're going to have low perception. Okay, the same thing. Okay, here is 3.71. So this is a high perception. This is 3.66. That is lower than 3.69. So this is low perception here. Low perception, and this is exactly 3.69. So it's exactly same as the value of the weighted average. So this is high perception. So you can see that at this point, you can see that in the whole 10 items that we have, the students, majority of the students have perceived highly that item number one, number two, number seven, and number eight, and number 10 apply to them. Okay, so it is not a must that the all that you found in your descriptive statistics must be positive. No, when you have low perception, when you have a negative finding or negative output, it does not necessarily mean that there is nothing to learn from it. That is something to learn from it. What you need to do at this particular point is to see how you can make meaning of the finding. Why is it so? Why do majority of the students have low perception of this? Okay, so that should be what you be making as contribution. So I'm going to pause the tutorial and then get over to report the findings. So I try to capture this. So and then I will show you how you can now make meaning of this particular interpretations. Now that we have reported what we found, so the next thing we need to do is to begin to write out the result. Okay, so I will copy, for example, here to interpret the findings of this study. So what I need to do is to start making meaning of each of these item statements that I have reported here, the findings, those with high perception and those with low perception. So I'm going to start reporting them how they're supposed to be. So so the first thing I will say is that I will say the data analysis shows that majority of the participants, of the respondents rather, appear to feel that so this is the item number one here. Okay, this is the item number one. So this is the item number one because it's highly it shows high perception. So so I'm going to copy them and then use them to make meaning. Okay, write up the interpretation of this result, because you see in a couple of papers, people will just come and say, well, we find that we find our result is positive because the mean of this is 3.91, 3.82, 3.63 is bigger than the mean cutoff of 2.5, and because of that, the result is positive. No, you need to make meaning of the item statement. So, as I said, the data analysis shows that majority of the respondents appear to feel that the work placement learning offered them. Okay, so I can now make it look good. Offered them opportunities to consolidate the knowledge that they have learned. Okay, and I'll say also also I can paste this. Also, they felt that the work placement learning, so I can change this to past tense, gave them gave them opportunities to apply the acquired knowledge into real life situations. So this can also help. Okay, So, so you can see I have actually used this to now make a, to form a little paragraph here. And so this is how you form your statement. And same thing applicable to those that perceive low, okay, that have low perception of the program, of the work placement learning program. So I can also make same statements here. I can say, on the other hand, majority of the participants had low perception of the impact of work placement learning on their learning. Okay. For example, they perceived okay. So you can see this, that workplace helped them to identify gaps that need to be filled. Okay. Um, so you can also pick up this, that the workplace allowed them to apply the required into these. So you can see I've already used this to form an interesting, uh, interesting paragraph here. So people will be able to make meaning of what you have found. So in this particular case, you can now decide to support this with previous literature. So you can see that at this stage, I have produced a full paragraph, and so it makes meaning. So you can see I've been able to make sense of what the item statements here. I've been able to make sense of this based on what I have, based on my decisions here. Okay. So, and then at this point, you may now want to support your findings with previous studies. So, for those with higher perception, you can say um, this is consistent with, say, a tall 2023. Oh, sorry, 2023. Um, that blah blah blah. So you can now take it up from there and support it. You can support, you can use one or more of previous studies to support this, and then the same thing applicable to this particular area that the students perceive low. So, and again, you may want to also you may want to see why they had low perceptions on this on these items, these other items. It could be issue of context. It could be how the program may run. You may make suggestions. Actually, you may not need to go into detailing that because it's not part of what you have found. So you don't need to go beyond what you have found. But you may say this may likely be as a result of this, and then you will have to present it as a form of suggestion for future study. Okay, so this is how you can interpret the results of a descriptive statistics when you have done your analysis. So this is how it is done. And there's no need for you to just come and knock out this result, knock out these, and then report only the values of mean and standard deviation, and then say all of them are all agreeing, and then you won't be able to make meaning of each of the item statements. So the essence of this is for the reader to read this and learn from it, and then you make meaning of this, and then support this with what you have perceived, what you have seen, what you have found with previous findings. Okay, so this is the end of the tutorial. And then if you please leave your comments in the comment box and ask your questions. I'll be able to clarify you. And if you find this tutorial interesting, please like the tutorial, like my channel, and then please share and let your students learn from this so they can do quality work. Thank you so much.